You're listening to Casual Alterations, a podcast by and for fans of Altered TCG. Here's your hosts, Kari and Ian.
Da 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 da.
I'm sorry.
Cupid, draw back your
okay,
bow.
well, you got me with the first word. It's Cupid by Sam Cooke. I am so ashamed that I did not get that.
That's okay.
It doesn't help that there is another song playing on the overhead.
Yeah, we have a little extra fighting that we're going to do today because our house is hot. So
Yeah.
we've retreated to a secluded location.
Our typical recording studio is on the second floor of our home. It's on the top half story of a house, so it's always warmer in there than everywhere else. Welcome, bienvenue, welcome.
Hello and bonjour. Welcome to Casual Alterations, a podcast about Equinox's board game, card game, Altered.
This is a podcast where we talk about Altered TCG and why we love it. I am, of course, Kari, also known as the Tokens Lady.
And I'm Ian, the Token Husband. And today we're going to present to you the hottest takes in a hot little room about the new set, Skybound Odyssey.
But first, I'd like to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our Patreon supporter, Blue Oak TV. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. And remember to go and check out our Patreon if you too feel like supporting us as Blue does.
Thank you, Blue. And also just remember that we are out there on the other interwebs, social media. We're in Blue Sky. We're on a couple other places too, the Etsy's, the make playing cards, places where you can find us if you're looking for those tokens or if you're just looking to converse with us. We're not really active right now, but we will respond to anything anybody writes.
If you tag us, we'll know. We get those notifications.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So today, it's all about what's new about Skybound Odyssey, and specifically, what's the interesting parts of the reveal of the pre-release information that they shared with us about the set. We're going to look at some things. We're also going to touch a little bit on lore.
Yeah, just a quick content warning. Spoiler alert. If you're not into the spoilers or whatever, this is not the place for you today.
Yeah, in fact, you probably aren't into us very much anyway because you don't want to hear from us. I think everybody wants to hear what's our take.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily solid gold truth.
No, we're definitely not here with the professional expert opinions. We are strictly casual, underproduced, underinformed. We're here for the emotional hot takes.
Yes, absolutely. So let's start with the coolest thing I think about the new boosters. Yes, it's still 36 packs in a box, which is not what everybody else is doing. Just remember that you get more packs and cards per box from Altered than you do from any other company that creates card games. But now about one pack in every case will contain a golden booster. So this is for Skybound Odyssey. It will contain 6 rares, 6 unique cards, and a foiler.
That's 1 in every 200 packs on average, about 6 boxes of packs.
Yeah, if you did any of the Kickstarter stuff, you'll know how much that was fun to open that particular pack.
Those golden boosters were amazing.
They were fun.
They're
absolutely great.
Even if every unique in your golden booster is just straight garbage, you're still excited to see it.
Which sometimes they were.
Let's be honest. Yeah, many times they were.
There was one pack that we opened that was a golden booster that was 4 Lyra and 2 Axioms, and we couldn't play a single one.
We might have found a home for one of those Lyra cards.
It could be in the queue. The pre-release kits. We found out what's in those.
Yes, I'm very excited about the changes to the pre-release kits. There are a number of updates that they've made with feedback from the player community based on comments after the first round of pre-release kits in Trial by Frost.
Yeah, and something that we've been talking about, if the gimmick in the game is you got a unique, you got to have it in the pre-release packs. Guess what? That's what they're doing. They're adding that to the pre-release packs.
Yep, 1 guaranteed unique in every pre-release kit.
For new players, there's other things in here too that they're going to like. The first player token's going to be in here, and also punch out pieces for your different tokens that you're going to need. So you're going to have everything that you want, including those new adventure cards.
Yep, and that was actually something I specifically remember coming up in discussion after the last round of pre-releases. Many players said Equinox had commented they didn't think it was important to put those punch cards in there because everybody's going to have them. But actually, pre-releases historically for many other TCGs are places where new players will discover a game. So it is important to have those features in the kit so that anybody can walk up and play a pre-release without bringing anything with them at all.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Also in this announcement, the 6 heroes were listed. We have the 5 other heroes and their names. We knew about Soul. That's not something we're going to talk about today. Go back to the previous podcast to listen to that. But we're going to start with the Muna because we did kind of know a little bit about the Woollyback beforehand.
A tiny, tiny bit. I knew its name and that it existed.
How excited were you to find out that there was going to be a token in Muna?
I was 11 out of 10 excited that there would be a Muna token.
How disappointed are you that you're giving the token to your opponent?
0 out of 10. I don't care who gets a token. I am happy to have a token. If I have to make it and give it to someone else, that's fine. This token is the derpiest, most adorable token. I love it. I want to see a plushie of it. That's it. It doesn't matter what it does. I'm just excited.
So now we need 2 plushies, Buddha and
the Minotaur. I still want the Minotaur from last game.
Okay.
And Naura. That's 3.
Okay.
There's 3.
So there's
Cowrie?
Cowrie?
I would call it Cowrie.
We're going to pronounce it wrong every single time. You're going to hear it from us. It's Kari and Puff. We're going to always say that.
I believe I will probably make a point of pronouncing it Cowrie so as not to confuse people.
Well, I will say Kari every time just because I want to.
And every time from across the table, I'll say, what? Oh, not me. Okay.
So at noon, if you're the first player, there's a lot of this in the text on a lot of these heroes, a lot of them that it matters when the token is being created. In this case, you're creating a Woollyback animal token in target opponent's companion expedition, and then you get to draw a card. How good is that?
I always love to see the words draw a card on anything in Muna. So I am excited about this. I don't think I mind giving away a 1/1/1 to my opponent every other turn. Because I do get to draw a card.
Okay, I just want to point out Sigismar.
That's every single turn.
It is every turn, but if you're playing Sigismar, there are turns when you're playing first, and then you have to play a card after you give the opponent a 1/1/1. So now they have a 1/1/1 in their hero and companion zone.
Okay, yes, that sucks.
I think that's the one that you have to think about. This is the worst case scenario. Although Buddha is bad as well, but you end up with a 3/3/3 on one side. So it makes it very clear what side you really have to go for against Buddha. But I think on the other ones that are creating tokens, this is really going to make it tough for Muna to win.
That's a good point. I'm thinking in this deck, you're going to need to plan on playing a lot of things that are anchored. You're going to want anchoring unique so that your things are sticking around for multiple turns to protect you against that 1/1/1 that you know they're going to have.
Well, and that's what Muna does. So
Yeah.
I think you could supplant your Mutasia boost option with Kari.
Cowrie? Anyway, yeah, giving up the 1/1/1 to your opponent hurts, but Muna doesn't get to draw cards without some kind of sacrifice.
That's true.
So,
if I'm looking at playing Rin or playing Kari, I think I'm still looking at Rin.
I understand why you say that, but Rin is really just a resupply, right?
It's
a choice of a resupply. This is a straight up card draw. You get the card, your opponent doesn't know what it is.
Well, since we talked about Sigismar, let's go to the Ortis hero because that's the one we're probably going to play the least for us. It's Zen and Zephyr. Zen and Zephyr says at noon, if you're the first player, your hero expedition ascends, which means until rest, it can move forward even if matched in its region's terrain by the opponent's expedition. So we're assuming this means that if you tie in a region on one side of the expedition versus the other side's expedition, you will advance with this.
Yes, in order to stop you, your opponent has to beat you. There's no more blocking.
Yes, for this particular hero expedition.
And what's interesting to me about this hero is the second part, which says when one or more of your ascended expeditions moves forward, if there is no character facing it, draw a card. It says One or more. The hero itself only ascends one expedition, period. That means there are other ways to ascend things in this set.
Absolutely. It is a bolded text here. It's being very specific that this is a keyword. How do you think this will play out?
I don't know. I appreciate the idea that you get to draw a card, but Ortis does not have any shortage of ways to draw cards, and I just don't think that's stronger than Sigismar.
It is a big question whether you switch off for that, but it could just be a whole nother way to play. We don't know how many cards are in the set. I'm guessing there's 120 cards in the set because a standard sheet of cards that you print at a printer shop is 11 by 11, which gets you 121 cards. 120 makes sense. That would mean that there's 20 cards in each faction. I would say like half of those are going to be for each one of the heroes. There may be 10 cards that say ascend or do something that help you ascend. Another hero from Lyra, this one, Nadir and Bubbles. Bubbles the fish. Oh, that's sweet. Don't you think Bubbles needs a little plushie too?
Okay, yes. Bubbles definitely needs a plushie also. I'm sorry, but the plushie list is not getting any shorter.
They're wasting their time here. They need to come out with these immediately. Nadir and Bubbles says, I began the game with one forest, one mountain, and one water terrain mark. And then at noon, you may place one of my markers on a target visible region. I think actually this sounds really good. You can be played offensively or defensively. Gives you a lot of options. And we already know from all the Iraq decks, from all of the decks using Fen, how much winter outfits is important in Lyra. Having another card that does something similar to that is pretty big.
I am extremely excited about the possibilities of this because not only does it allow you to fix your zero stats weaknesses based on what you know you have in your hand, it also allows you to change up your opponent's expeditions so that they can't advance even though they think they're going to.
And I can see a play pattern for this hero of putting the water location on your opponent's stuff and playing the forest and the mountain on yours, as Lyra tends to have cards that are stronger in the forest and mountains than they are in water.
Yeah, my deck is pretty weak on water actually, but
you would not put that on your own side.
Especially if I can put it in a place that I have already passed so that I won't be stuck on a single water expedition.
Absolutely.
And then I can use that forest and mountain to replace the existing single water expedition on the adventure map because I don't want to sit there.
The one that I think is the most difficult to pronounce is the Axiom. I think I'm going with Asari.
Oh, I was reading it as Isari.
Isari or Asari?
Yeah.
I don't know what the I is going to sound like, if it's going to be the I sound as in it or the I sound as in iron. But we'll find out. It's Pebble. We're just going to say it's Pebble. And Pebble says at noon, if you're the first player, create an aerolith token in your landmark. It's a permanent with when I'm sacrificed, you can resupply. How do you sacrifice it? You exhaust it and pay 1.
And then you get to resupply. Whee!
There's a lot of resupplying going on generally in Axiom, so this fits in what Axiom is doing. Is this better than Trist? Is it better than Subhash?
I think it's better than Subhash. I don't think it's better than Traced, but I think we'll have to wait and see. The thing about this ability is it does give you a second landmark for those cards that care about you having 2 landmarks. Mostly uniques, although also that does hit 3 Little Pigs and Athena, which can be unplayable in a lot of circumstances because you only have 1 landmark. Well, now you know you're going to get one.
So you put those 2 cards in this deck. There is a glut of Axiom uniques that say, how many landmarks do you have? I do a special thing if you do. So you might have 9 cards in your deck that make this actually work.
I haven't done the math. I'm just saying.
I just did the math for you.
I'm just saying, I know that there are a lot of cards that have been basically unplayable because they have a 2 landmark requirement. And now we have a hero that is making that more playable.
During your first 2 times that you're the first player, you get these landmarks out, hoping that eventually you get the tech lab out. You're going to need additional space for your resupply because you're going to fill up.
I just don't know if it's better than the existing heroes, but I like the possibilities. I think it's interesting, and I can't wait to see what people do about it. I do know at least one person that's in our local play groups has a friend who has already built a deck for this hero. That's how excited they were about it. So I can't wait to see what it looks like.
I think the most complicated of all the heroes is Moyo and Silk. And there's still questions about exactly what this says. You may have seen Moyo before. We talked a little bit about it on our last podcast.
Yes, I would like to confirm that I was 100% correct. This is, in fact, the Ysmir Moth Breeder.
Absolutely. The uniqueness of what it says here is when you play a spell with base cost 4 or more. So that's the first question. Base cost, what does that mean? We believe this means that what you cast the card for. So if it's from your hand or from reserve or from somewhere else, it's gonna cost 4 when you play it for this trigger to hit. And so when that happens, you may exhaust Moyo and Silk to create a Mana Moth 2/2/2 illusion token in your hero expedition. But there's a special bonus. If the base cost was 7 or more, you get to draw a card.
This is a very interesting hero to me. I don't know how you want to build that deck. We've got Winter Nova, we've got Celestial Blast, Flutter of Moths. That's what I got. Are there more?
So the only other one is Celebration Day. That's the rare from Ortis that gets pushed over to cost 8. There's got to be more cards in the new set that are going to do the same thing. And maybe they will fluctuate a little bit, but for the most part, you're going to be looking at paying 4 for getting a 2/2/2 bonus when you play it. So your Banishing Gate now gets a little bit better.
Yes, it improves your expensive spells slightly. You're going to have to play them anyway in order to play that control strategy. But I don't know if it's good enough to justify playing it instead of, say, Acacia. Now you don't get the After You anymore. You're exchanging that for the possibility of maybe drawing a card and making a Mana Moth.
Conjuring Seal from reserve now actually seems a little more fun.
Right, and off you go as well.
Yes.
Normally off you go. Do you ever play it from reserve? Usually not.
No. And Evanescence also gets hit with this card.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it does reward you a little bit for playing those 4 or 5 mana spells that you're not going to be able to afford most of the time. You might play once.
I think this is a card that, for me, I will attempt to build something, but it could fall flat on its face, just like Subhash has for me recently.
Poor Subash. You tried so hard.
I did.
I believe in you, Subash. I do.
So the other thing that was in all of this is a bunch of lore about Skybound Odyssey. Specifically, we start off by learning that immediately after they leave the City of Scholars, which is where they went to for Whispers of the Maze, they see a beam of light, which is something we pointed out in that key art that we saw as well.
Yes, the beam of light, which we thought was somewhere in between the Silg and the Katkara. And now we know it's not there.
It's not there because they are still in the City of Scholars. And there's a first beam of light bursts out in the City of Scholars, and then they see another one in the distance. And they decide to go out and search for that next signal, but realize that they can't go on land. It is impassable. So they decide, well, what's the best way to get there? Maybe Lyra's got a little bit of push into this. They're going to sail.
We do have those flying ships, the Lyra.
Yes. So they take flight, go through this unusual sky of clouds and flying archipelagos, each with all kinds of different strange meteorological phenomenon. For example, there are veins of rock crystals in some of these islands. There are gigantic waterfalls that are spilling out water into something. There is even water that's rising up into the sky before evaporating into form some kinds of flocks of small fluffy clouds, which they specifically say, are they truly clouds? Which we probably think.
Woolly-backs?
I would guess that they are. Although if you ever get wool wet.
it shrinks, but sheep don't shrink.
No, they don't.
It's because of the way that wool is carded and spun together, the fibers are pointing in different directions, and that's what causes them to shrink.
Yes.
So,
weird thing that apparently these woolly-backs appear out of water that comes from the ground. I don't know how that works, but okay.
This is the explanation for our tiny little cloud sheep that we saw in that key art.
Yes. Not only do they get all of these wonderful islands, but they run into a bunch of titanic leviathans. They live on this archipelago, wherever this is. Most of them are just curious and peaceful, but there's one that's not.
Oh, could it possibly be Halua?
It is absolutely. It suddenly attacks them through the clouds and tries to unleash its fury on those convoy of airships. We see that in one of the key arts of the card, or one of the card's arts. Halua is just crashing through everything, and the island and the lands and the ships are just crumbling before it.
Turning into dust against its mighty, mighty wings.
What faction do you think might go after this wonderful Leviathan manta ray?
Well, we know that it's Bravos.
It is Bravos, absolutely.
Because we've seen pictures of them throwing spears at this poor innocent sky pancake who's just minding his own business until they come in and mess up his house. Can you blame him for being mad?
I don't think so. Then, now that he's mad, the Moon kind of try to come in and calm the Leviathan. They just try to control Halua's wrath.
You go in with a calming, gentle energy. You soothe the aggressive animal, and now everybody is happy.
You just try to relax the big, huge Leviathan.
Oftentimes, a high-value treat is something that will work. I don't know, maybe some stew. Perhaps a dish of Arcolano milk.
The Axiom take a whole different approach to this. They invent another robot that flies. This robot is called Farfetch 2.0. So maybe there's a 1.0 that didn't quite work. What does Farfetch do? Blows things up, which is kind of Axiom. And now we get the idea that Axiom try to solve everything
with machines and explosions.
Yes. Yep. And when they do that, they actually find the aerolith, a mineral unique to this archipelago. None of that stops the Bravos. They continue their hunt. They are decidedly determined to neutralize the Leviathans in any way that they can to stop the havoc that they're creating. This is actually represented in their new mechanic called Rush.
So Rush means you play another card immediately. So even though you just played this card for its rush ability, you now get to play another card before your opponent has a turn. The example card, Bravos Harpooner, says, when played from hand, you may rush to sabotage. So you rush by playing another card immediately, and when you do that, you get to discard up to one target card from a reserve. Play your Bravos Harpooner, then you immediately play, for example, Helping Hand to put a boost on it and remove fleeting. And then you get to do a sabotage at the same time. So it attaches a sabotage to your second card you play, basically.
Yeah, I think this is very good. It actually does help with Soul a lot, I think, because it allows you to then play two spells at once.
You get your Soul trigger.
We also still have Muna trying to calm everything down.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, singing in the crowd. They've managed to master something called equivalent exchange, which we don't know exactly what that terminology means. I think Kari probably represents that equivalent exchange of giving somebody a token for a card. An armored bird that comes up that is the example of this ability. It is a 3/3 that comes in as a 4/4/5. It has Defender.
Unless you're in the rare version, in which case it says, I am Defender unless I'm facing two or more characters. Perhaps you've already set up your opponent's expedition so that you will be facing two or more characters. Put down your fluffy sky sheep in your opponent's companion expedition, you play the armored bird across from it, and now they have to choose, am I going to play something there or not? Because if I can't beat them, then they're going to get to advance anyway.
Yeah, I think the rare is much better than the common in this. I'll be happy to play the common in a draft or limited, but I'd much rather have the rare.
Yeah, it does have good stats, but generally speaking, I don't like playing Defender character. And in Muna, there's no way to turn off that Defender like there is in Ordis.
The last thing about the armored bird, you see a bunch of Bravos, heroes, fighters, Kojo in there.
Yeah, that's certainly Kojo. I have no doubt that that's Kojo.
They're throwing spears at the armored bird, but someone's riding the armored bird. It does kind of look like a shepherd's staff there that the person is holding, but that definitely does not look like Kari.
No, but also I'd like to point out, if you zoom in real close to see that little person standing on the back of the armored bird, you can also see Halua's eye. So clearly this bird is protecting Halua from all these Bravos bullies who are throwing sticks at it for no reason. He's just minding his business, floating around, and they're like trying to stab him with toothpicks. How rude. The Lyra card that they revealed is interesting. It's 4/4 for Koi, Playful Leviathan, a 3/0/3 with Gigantic. Hit common. As a rare, when you play it from hand, if neither of its expeditions is in Mountain, you draw a card. The new hero you can set it up so that neither of your expeditions is in mountain.
It's a usable card in most Lyra decks because there aren't a lot of really good cards that are strong in water.
For 4 mana, you're getting basically 2 Frog Princes, right? 1 on each side. That's equivalent. But if you happen to set it up in a no mountain zone, you get to draw a card, which is something you don't get to do a lot of in Lyra. I'm excited about the possibilities of this card. But also, out of faction, we're in Bravos. So in Bravos, this out of faction is just the 3/03 with Gigantic. It doesn't have that special ability.
You will notice that they have changed the coloring to the banners that are on the cards. Now, traditionally, mostly they are white for all of the cards, but the out of faction cards now have a gold symbol on the banner in the top right corner.
Yes, I like that they've done that because that is in keeping with how they've been designating the changes to rare cards. Text that changes is gold, so now so is the out of faction symbol on the banner. I appreciate that a lot.
I think that's everything that we found from the Skybound Odyssey previews. All of the reveals that we have for our set that's coming out in October.
I am extremely excited about this new set. I appreciate the new heroes and what they're trying to do. Each of them has something different that we haven't seen yet. So they're trying to introduce new styles of play, which I think is good. Keep the game fresh. And of course, the first Muna token, which, I mean, of course I'm going to be excited about that as a Muna who loves tokens.
Who creates tokens.
Yes.
So there are tokens coming. Just be patient. Because of the fact that these are all pretty much revealed right now, it's our decision to kind of hold off with the reveal of your tokens. They're not quite finished. The art is not quite done.
I do think it is fair to say there is, of course, the one token that I made that has been revealed.
We'll have a few. We're going to be in Dallas. We're going to be at the World Championship there. Come see us. We'll be able to give some away while they last. We will see everybody there. By the way, I'm bringing the unique cube. So be sure, send us DMs if you're interested in playing. We have 10 spots open, and we'd love to have anybody who really wants to play Altered in a cube environment who are part of the Casual Alterations group get involved in the cube.
Well, thanks for listening. And remember to follow us on Blue Sky, Patreon, Instagram, etc., etc. Maybe even pick up some of our products on Etsy or makeplayingcards.com. Or perhaps you want to join Blue as one of our mighty supporters on the Patreon.
Thanks for listening, everybody. See you in Dallas.
Bye.
This has been Casual Alterations Podcast. For more information, please visit us at casualalterations.wordpress.com.